Central sulcus. You can see it's not exactly in the midline, dips little bit on the medial surface, continues down below, and you can see falls short of the posterior ring. So it doesn't completely join it. Now here you can see that's the lateral sulcus. This is the stem of the lateral sulcus, and this is the posterior ramus. Now here you can see this is the anterior and this is the ascending ramus. Can you see? Anterior, this is the ascending. So pars orbitalis, triangularis, opercularis. Pars orbitalis, triangularis and opercularis. Okay? See? Okay? Anterior and the ascending rami. What do you, which artery passes through the stem of the middle cerebral artery? Middle cerebral artery. I'll show you. Wait. Look at this. In the bone you have in the anterior cranial fossa. This is the middle cerebral. Can you see that? In the depths of the stem, you can see this is the middle cerebral artery. And what's the significance of this artery? Not only you see the blood supply, it is responsible for supplying to the entire suprolateral surface of the brain. Look at this. See, that's the middle cerebral artery. And this will give branches. See, these are the branches which ramify to supply which surface? The supralateral surface. See? Can you see the artery there?
Which is this, sorry? Superlateral.
Superolateral. That's the middle cerebral artery. Can you see the insula? Look at this. In this specimen. Look at the insula. I don't want to break my specimen, but see. Can you see the insular lobe? See the gyra and sulci there? That's the insula. Can you see that? Right? That's the middle meningeal artery. Can you see it? It passes through this. It passes superficially. It is not in the depth of it. It is superficial. That's why the cranial cavity you saw, along with the sphenoparietal sinus, it produces a marking on the anterior cranium, the frontal branch, and in the middle cranial fossa, the parietal branch. In the depths of the rami, you have the middle cerebral artery. Okay? That's related to the stem. Okay? Okay. Right. Took out a specimen to show some. Look at this. In this specimen, you can see the insula very well. Look at the central sulcus there. It's cut. You don't see the entire thing, but this is the central sulcus, which will produce this island of Riehl. Can you see this? Right?
Is that?
Central. This is the not the central. This is the circular sulcus.
Okay.
Right?
That thing that's in the
That's the circular sulcus, and this is the insular cortex. Look at the grooves there on the surface, the long and the short gyri. Right? This is the circular sulcus. Now, along the depths here, you can see there is a small portion of grey matter which is known as the Lyman insulae. I'm not able to show you here. There is a small portion of grey matter, just for your knowledge, which passes from the temporal lobe to the insula. That's known as the Lyman insulae. And what does this Lyman insulae do? The Lyman insulae connects the anterior perforated substance, alright, or the anterior perforated substance to the insular cortex. So you see a small area of grey matter, small line of grey matter which connects the temporal lobe with the insula. So it's coming from the anterior perforated substance, temporal lobe, and then finally into the surface of the insula, and that is the Lyman insulae. So central, and then you can see this is the precentral sulcus. It is ill-defined almost. That is the precentral sulcus, and this gyrus, what you see, this is the motor cortex. This is the primary motor area. This is the precentral gyrus, and here you can see this is the postcentral sulcus. Right? You can see this is the postcentral sulcus. This is the postcentral gyrus. Now on the frontal lobe, let's see the ill-defined, the superior and the inferior frontal sulci. So this would be the superior, and this would be the inferior frontal sulcus. So this will be the superior, the middle, and the inferior frontal gyri. In this area you can see this, which is joining here on the medial surface. This would be portion of this gyrus here. What is this? This is the medial frontal gyrus. That's the medial frontal gyrus. Let's see the paracentral lobule here. Okay, let's finish the supralateral surface first. So that is the frontal. And where is the Broca's area now? That would be area 45 and area 44, between the triangularis and the orbitalis. So this would be the area for Broca's motor speech area. Alright. Coming to the parietal lobe behind the central sulcus, this would be the intraparietal sulcus. This would be the superior parietal lobule, and this would be the inferior parietal lobule. Let's see if we can see the supramarginal gyrus. That's the supramarginal, and this would be the region of the angular gyrus. Supramarginal gyrus and the angular gyrus, this area. That's the supramarginal. You can identify it very well. This is the supramarginal gyrus, and this gyrus which is projecting, this would be the angular gyrus. You can see here, this you can identify very well. This is the stem of the lateral sulcus. Sorry, this is the stem of the lateral sulcus, and here you can see this is the supramarginal gyrus, and this is the angular gyrus. Okay. This is the posterior ramus surrounding it. This is the supramarginal gyrus, and this gyrus, what you see here, which is along the superior temporal sulcus here, this gyrus is the angular gyrus. Alright. Now on the temporal lobe, what do we see? The superior temporal sulcus and the inferior temporal sulcus. See, the superior one is very well defined. Look at this. Superior temporal sulcus, and this is the ill-defined inferior temporal sulcus, dividing into superior, middle, and the inferior temporal gyri. What you should remember is the superior temporal gyrus. That's more important. This is involved in, along with these areas, in for perception of the language and the written language and writing. Alright, perception and interpretation of language and writing. Alright, this is the area. Now coming to the occipital pole, you can see the beautiful lunate sulcus. Can you see this half moon shaped sulcus? Right, that's the lunate sulcus. Look at that. This half moon shaped sulcus, that's the lunate sulcus. Lunate. Alright. Now let's go to the medial surface. Now, on the medial surface, how do you identify this is the medial surface? Nobody can miss it. Alright, this is the corpus callosum. Alright. So what is the anterior end? Anterior end is narrow and elongated, whereas the posterior end is broad and blunt. What are the parts of the corpus callosum? The rostrum. Genu is known as a bend, right? What is the meaning of genu? It's a bend. So where this rostrum bends,